Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hi, everybody. Good morning to you, and thanks for joining us for Second Cup this morning. You might notice this lovely lady doesn't really look like Ed.
No.
Much prettier.
Oh, don't tell him that.
Don't tell Ed that. I want to introduce Lindsay to you. Lindsay Riggs runs the Buffalo Love Instagram and social media pages. And Lindsay, you've joined us before because you have an incredible backstory that we're going to talk about. Just some really difficult times for you in the past few years, but you've kind of taken those difficult times and turned them into positive things.
Absolutely.
Which we so appreciate. So if you're with us, say good morning to Lindsay. And Lindsay and I are both doing the matching thing today.
A coordination.
And it's not just because Ed and I do the matching thing, although partially is. No, but it's because March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, it is such an important thing to talk about because we see people younger and younger being diagnosed. Mm-hmm. And it is something that we have to talk about. And I think a lot of times people think it's uncomfortable to talk about. So, Lindsay, tell us a little bit about your backstory because you're from Western New York.
Yes.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Newfane.
Newfane.
Oh, okay. Way up there, like Ontario.
And you and I have known each other for a long time.
We have. We worked together, like young professionals days.
Young professionals days. Yeah. I mean, we're talking like
pre-mom.
10,
pre-mom
12 years. Yeah, pre-mom.
Yes.
And you have 3 kids now.
I do, yes.
And your oldest is?
She's going to be 9 on Saturday.
Okay.
And then we have 2 boys who are 6 and 5.
Okay.
So 3 total.
All right.
Circus.
So it's a circus. So we've got Lindsay for some great topics of conversation this morning, but I want to start by talking about Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month because your story is one that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people. You're young. Mm-hmm. You noticed some things were going on.
Yep.
What can you tell us? Share your story with us and give us some of the things that we need to know.
Yeah. So I'm 41. Don't tell anyone. But
don't tell anyone
right,
either.
It's a
okay.
secret.
Yeah.
But at age 40, I suddenly had this very sharp pain in my abdomen out of nowhere. And I thought it was gas, to be honest,
Sure.
Rolling around on the floor, trying to figure it out.
With your kids, doing all, yeah.
Right. And as a mom, you get hemorrhoids, you might have a little blood in your stool and it's dismissed, right? So it's a common thing that happens when you have babies. So it was just like, hey, you had kids and this is what's going on. So when that sudden pain happened and it wouldn't go away, I said, listen to my body. I'm like, I have to take myself in.
Okay.
Went to the ER. Long story short, after a week's stay there, they couldn't figure out what was going on. They said, we're going to go in. We see an abscess on your CT scan. We're going to drain it.
Okay.
I said, okay, sounds good. Knock me out. Let's get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, I had a 9-inch vertical scar on my abdomen, a colostomy bag, and I was told that it was not an abscess, that a tumor had perforated my colon wall and had caused that severe pain.
Wow.
Yeah. So out of nowhere, I swear there's guardian angels that made that happen. Otherwise, how would I have known? Mm-hmm. So I was diagnosed with 2B. The B part is because it spilled out into my abdomen, the cancer cells. And I immediately went to Roswell. We're so lucky it's here in our backyard. Mm-hmm. Have an excellent oncology team. And they put me on a program, if you will, for strategizing on how to get this taken care of.
Okay, so you go in, you think this abscess is being drained.
Right.
And you wake up with completely different news.
Completely. Like out of a movie, but this isn't happening.
Do you still remember that moment?
Oh, yes. And the feel, like right now I'm like
tense
and shaking because it was like an out-of-body experience. Like, how did this happen to me? No family history. The blood in the stool. I mean, in retrospect, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what it was. But as mothers, we tend to overlook that. Mm-hmm. And just busy life in general. And and you're 40, you're considered young.
Yeah.
So, typically colon cancer is recognized as an old person's disease, right? And I quote that because that's just typically how it's been viewed.
And we're also learning it's not as much anymore. Yeah.
And it's increasing rapidly, especially for those under 50. And we're fighting against the clock to see what's going on.
Okay. So now you wake up, you have a colostomy bag, mm-hmm. which obviously is something that you never thought about before.
No.
That's a life changer too.
Yes, exactly. And I had that for 1 year. And so that was challenging, but you get through it.
Yeah.
you have to face the hard things.
Yeah.
And it was keeping me alive
Sure.
while my body was healing through all of this chemo treatment that I was receiving.
And so then you start getting, you meet with Roswell and you get a treatment plan.
Yes.
Okay. And what did that look like for you?
So for me, it was, I had already had surgery, which was backwards than your typical scenario. Typically you go through treatment and then you have surgery at the end once the tumor has shrunk. Well, I was backwards. So I was a very rare case where I had the surgery first, and I had 12 rounds of Folfox, which is a very aggressive form of chemo for colon cancer, 12 rounds of that for a little over 6 months. And I had, a liver ablation for what they thought might have metastasized to my liver. Luckily, it did not. It was just a regular spot on the liver, which happens over time as we age anyway. And then at the end of my treatment and after scans, I went through a series of tests, CTs, MRIs, PET scans, and it was declared that I was cancer-free. So thank goodness.
Right.
And that's the plan, to stay like that forever.
Yeah.
But that was the challenge. It was the worst experience of my life, but some good things have come out of it too.
And so you're a mom of 3, you're married.
Yes.
And this is all happening. Like, life doesn't stop.
No.
While this is happening.
No.
So what was that like, managing your family on top of all of that?
Yeah. Well, I always say I'm very lucky because my husband and I are an excellent partnership. And I had my village of my family and my very close friends. And I have to shout out Bo. You know Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my husband. And he was phenomenal. So on the days that I could not get out of bed, that I was very sick, we chose not to tell our kids because they're so little. They just knew mommy had some tummy problems and she was on medicine getting better, but sometimes it made her feel sick. So while I was, getting chemo treatment, I would go home with my port plugged into some medicine as well. He took over the house.
Yeah.
He was handling the kids while I got to recover. And then, it was good days and bad days. And I think a lot of it was mental. A lot of this is a mental game, because if you go in negative and you go in not thinking the best outcome that it can be, I think you set yourself up for a little bit of danger there. So I think having that positive mindset really helped. And then my village behind me, especially my husband.
I just want to pull up some of the comments that we're getting to. Linda joins us every morning practically. She says, you look so great. She's still thankful that you're sharing your story. Rachel says she's so happy to hear that you're cancer free. And Debbie says she lost a cousin to colon cancer, 42 years young.
Gosh.
And Peter says, I'm 44. I just had my first colonoscopy.
Yay.
The prep stunk, but the procedure was a piece of cake, especially the sedation they gave. I wish she wanted a doggy bag of the sedation. And Megan lost both her father and her brother to colon cancer. So this is something that we are seeing in our community. This is something that people need to be talking about. What do you want people, specifically younger people, to know?
Yeah, so 45 is technically the threshold of when you should be getting your colonoscopy.
Okay.
This is a very preventable cancer, which is fantastic news. The problem is now we're seeing those younger than 45. So we have to fight, first of all, to lower the age.
Okay.
So that's one thing that we are working on. If you have family history, if you have any kind of abdominal issues, if you have blood in your stool, I don't care if it's a twinge, I implore you to call your doctor and demand a colonoscopy, because that's the best way to determine what's going on in your body. And the thing with colonoscopies, it's a great nap. So you come, and it's great.
Yeah,
I was like, why are you waking me up? Let me sleep. I'm a mom.
I know.
But
I don't get a lot of
I don't get
sleep.
this.
Sure.
But the thing is, if they go in and they see polyps, which are the precursor to a tumor developing, if they get those out, they got it out.
Right.
So the goal is you need to advocate for your health. You need to listen to your body. I don't care if it's one tiny symptom, you go. This is too serious now to ignore and just put on the back burner. The prep, okay, it's a little tough, but you survive.
Yeah.
That's better than the latter that could happen.
Aaron Mason, our boss, he joins us often. Lindsay's such an inspiration, inspired me to get my colonoscopy at 45. It's such an important thing to get done. It's like our mammograms.
It is.
And we talk so openly about those,
Yes.
but we don't as openly maybe talk about getting our colonoscopies.
Well, poop is involved.
Yeah, right.
So, and it sounds weird and it's a taboo. And I will talk about poop all day long because now that I've gone through
it could
this.
save somebody's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, there's environmental things. They're working on figuring out why this happens, especially to those that don't have the history. And everyone's case is different. Right.
Right. Because we hear environmental, we hear potentially what we're eating, processed food, and there's so many things out there.
Yeah.
we did have a doctor from Roswell Park who we
Mhm.
interviewed who also said part of the good news here of people of us seeing these increased numbers is that we're actually picking it up.
Yes.
We're actually looking for it.
Yes.
So that is good because people like
Exactly.
you are speaking out and saying, hey, check this out.
Exactly.
So we're seeing potentially increased numbers because people are saying, I do have some of these.
Right.
Maybe I
Exactly.
should get that checked out.
Exactly. So that's good. And I think social media has a lot to do with breaking that stigma down, especially
Yes.
because the generation that this is affecting lives on social.
Yeah.
So we can use that platform for
And
good.
that's kind of your expertise.
I like to think it is. I have fun on there.
But you shared so much of your story. And I think we have your Instagram page too. I think our producer Jordan was going to get that ready to go. But we have your Instagram page, and on there you shared your journey. Why
did.
was that so important?
Well, I talk a lot anyway. So I, and
Understood.
understood. And I said to myself, I'm like, this is part of my life. I share my life online, yes. But also, why can't I use my platform as a good voice and educate others and show them what I'm going through, the good, the bad, and the ugly? I mean, people saw me hooked up to chemo.
Yeah.
They saw me crying. They saw me sick. And I thought that was important because, it has to be shown that this is something serious and this is something on the rise. And through the end of it and even afterwards, the conversation of here's how I'm doing. Here's how I am mentally today. It's great.
Yeah.
Here's how it is today. Awful. It's real life.
Mhm.
And sharing the education. And I've been so honored to have met and interviewed with oncologists and researchers at Roswell, spoken to Erie County, American Cancer Society here in Western New York to get more information onto how we can speak more about this and then what people can do to really advocate for the health and get tested.
And let me also ask you too, because March is actually also National Women's Month. Okay.
Yes.
Women and men sometimes have different experiences when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, especially like at our stage of the game in life, you will often be told a lot of stuff is normal,
Right.
like you were mentioning.
Right.
You might think it's normal, or you might be told it's normal. And sometimes you have to be an advocate.
Yes.
Did you ever feel that way? Or if women do feel that way, what do you want them to know?
So I didn't, because I am aggressive in a loving way.
Yeah.
I'm aggressive in that. And I've always listened to my body ever since I was a kid. So that already came natural to me. But I've had the pleasure and honor of speaking to so many strangers online that have messaged me, scared to get their colonoscopy, or, hey, this is what's going on with me. And I have to tell people I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you from my own experience.
Right.
And so I always encourage women and encourage all of you, men and women, to, this is something that's new to us that we're learning about. Start listening and looking at it in a different way. I think doctors and oncologists are learning new things too. So we have to give a smidge of grace there.
Sure.
But if you really want to get checked, if you really want that colonoscopy, if you really are like, you know what, it could be hemorrhoids. Sure, it absolutely could be. But wouldn't it be better to take a preventative measure and have your doctor push for that? So you can push. And I'm a pusher. I tell everyone, I'm like, just advocate and get it done.
This is probably also an important question, knowing that you may have to be the person to push for it. How does that work with insurance?
It's tricky. So this is what I know, and I have to speak carefully of it because I'm not, an insurer, but I've had the honor of speaking to some. Your doctor can code that for you.
So you need to talk to your doctor. There needs to be a reason behind it, probably. And this is the conversation you have with the healthcare professional.
Exactly. So they can, if there's, gut issues, if there is inflammation, if there's blood in the stool, if there's unexplained cramping, like we've already ruled out Crohn's and IBS and anything else, there's a way, that they can code that in the system and get the colonoscopy, and that's at no cost if you have insurance. That is a preventative coverage.
Diana's saying more doctors need to listen to what's going on and not push it off as normal. You do know your body. Shirley was saying, Lindsay, you're beautiful inside and out, so positive. Jason's so happy you survived and your kids need you. It must have been scary going through all those procedures.
Oh my gosh, it was. And, my husband has a sense of humor. So I think that's what got me through a lot of it. Otherwise, I would have been kind of a hot mess and really anxious. And it is scary because that is the ultimate thing. And that's the first thing I thought of was, oh no, I have to see my kids get married. I want to be a grandma. I want to have like cool white hair and wear crazy outfits. And, I'm like, I have stuff to do. I have things to do. And that is always what I thought of, and I still think of every day.
Howard says, Oh my, at 65, I've never had one of those tests.
Howard, let's go.
I've had the at-home one.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to rethink this.
Yeah, and that's okay. There are at-home ones. Erie County is doing something amazing. If you do go on their, I think it's their Instagram and their Facebook, they just announced where they're giving out free fit kit tests. Now that's an at-home colonoscopy screening.
Okay.
It's not a full colonoscopy, I should say. It's a at-home colon screening, right? So it's not going to give you 100% results, but it gives you something. So if there is blood in your stool or something that's off, you will get those results, and then you can take that to your doctor and be like, hey, this wasn't right. We got to get this done. Now, I think it's important for, if you're 45 and up, since that's the age, you absolutely should get that colonoscopy. Just make it part of like your primary routine, right? It's just, I know it's another thing to put on the calendar, but if that's something that we can avoid, why not do it?
Yeah. So true. So true. Rachel's saying, listen, education is power. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for educating everyone. Paula says her child was 19, came to her and asked if it was normal to have blood in the stool. Once children become independent in the bathroom, parents are no longer able to see what's happening. She thinks it's important for children to know what's normal and not normal.
Absolutely.
Have it addressed sooner rather than later. It's kind of like those conversations where you're like, this is going to be a difficult conversation, but you don't avoid it.
No.
Because if you're not talking, there's so many things that fall into this category, right? But if you're not talking about it, you're not educating your kids.
Exactly.
And they need to know too.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, when they're little, did you poop today?
Right.
Right.
And
it's normal when they're little.
They're 16. You're not usually saying that.
And they're like, oh, mom, but you got to be embarrassing about it and say, listen, this is just part of the human body. Everybody poops, just like the book, right?
Great book.
So we got to talk about it.
My mom, she just got the notice. It's time to book her next colonoscopy.
There you go, Mary Beth. I like it. I want to see everyone booking those colonoscopies.
Peter says, to piggyback off what Lindsay said, I believe colonoscopies are covered 100% until polyps are removed and then surgical diagnosis, but maybe worth it.
Absolutely.
Yes. And it probably depends on your age as well, too.
Exactly. Like, so for example, my dad is 83, going on 60, right?
That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
On social media, by the way. If you don't follow Lindsay, Buffalo Lovebirds, follow her.
My dad. Follow my dad.
Her, but also her dad. He is a trip. Okay, I'm sorry. So he's 83. We'll talk about
him
in a second.
He's 83. And of course, I'm hounding everyone in my family, right? And all my friends. I'm like, I don't care if you're 30, go get one. And my dad's like, I'm too old to get one. They won't even send me in anymore. And I was like, Dad,
Oh my gosh.
So there is like a threshold where, it's like, okay.
They kind of say
They kind of say like,
you haven't
probably
had,
good.
You haven't had issues to this point, probably.
Right. So, but like that gentleman said, like it's a preventative procedure that's 100% covered. After that, of course, then you can maybe get into some different avenues, but hey, let's do it.
Right. Okay. And we also talked, this was the reality of your situation, was that you had 3 little kids at this point. And I just, having the one, can't even imagine how awful, scary, horrible that feeling was. What is it like as a mom getting that diagnosis and knowing I've got these 3 little guys who depend on me?
Yeah. On my good days, I was still 110% mom. And I even pushed through my bad days, right? So they're little. I mean, they're, at this point it was pre-K, kindergarten, and 2nd grade. I'm like, these are like their childhood moments. I need to show up for them. And would I go and cry in the bathroom by myself? Yeah, but that's how I got it out. So then I could refocus and be like, I'm here for my kids. I still took them to swim practice. I still went to ski club. I did everything I could on my good days to make it normal for them. And all I could think was, mommy has to survive. Mommy has to do this. And when they're older and we explain it to them, we can empower them to take care of their health in that manner. Explain to them, hey, mommy was 40 when this happened. Anytime you have a close parent or relative that's diagnosed, they do say your children have to go 10 years previously to when you were diagnosed. So my kiddos have to go when they're 30.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like wild.
That's so young. Yeah.
So young. And, so then I can have that conversation. But yeah, it's still something that I think about to this day, and really, it's upsetting. It's upsetting to think about. Yeah.
But you made it through. You did an amazing job. Did the kids even, that you were still there for them?
They knew, they knew I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And they knew a little bit about the colostomy bag. And we had jokes, we called.
Kids are so sweet too about that.
Oh, they're so, and they're like little nurses, and my middle boy is a sweetheart, and he would come in and hold my hand. Mommy, is your tummy better today? I'm like, you know what? Not today, but tomorrow it'll be better. Because I knew which day I would start to feel better.
Yep,
It was
yep,
a
yep.
very routine, every other week situation. So
Mm.
they knew when mommy was getting medicine and was down for the count a little bit, but then, you know, they knew to be careful. And we explained to them, like, hey, you got to hug mommy on this side, not over here, because
Yeah.
she's getting healed over here.
Oh my gosh.
So we explained it in a very kid form. And they're great. And they still are. Mommy, how's your tummy? Is it better? Because they can see me bending over now
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lifting weights again
Yep.
and trying to better my health. You know, so I think that's important that they see as
Oh my
well.
God, absolutely. Rachel saying your mental attitude too, such a big part of
Yeah.
when it comes to your
It
wellness
is.
journey.
It is.
And then Lauren, this is Ed's sister-in-law. I follow Lindsay. I love her content. You and Bo are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
so
we
sweet.
are so glad that you are comfortable sharing your story too,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people who wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who aren't.
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
okay too.
Yep.
But people like Lindsay make you think twice.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Mhm.
I want to bother everybody.
The
and get in
goal
your
is
head.
to be bothersome.
Yes.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want people to know when it comes to this month? We're wearing blue and we
Yeah.
have some events that are happening this month.
We do, yeah. So last year, in the middle of my chemo treatment, I had this idea. I was like, you know what? This is on the rise. We got to talk about this more. We need, also, it's one of the least funded cancers in the top 5 cancers in the world.
Wow.
Which, that's not good.
As far as research
As
goes?
far as research goes, it gets limited funding.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, no, not on my watch. What can I do while I'm here? So I put an ask out on social media. I said, hey, I have this idea. Are there any Western New York businesses that want to get involved in helping me raise funds for colorectal cancer research and resources? Because we need to make sure that all of our communities are able to access testing and transportation and everything like that. And last year we had over 50 businesses reach out and say, I want to help. And so Saving Butts was formed, which is a fundraising campaign that Buffalo Lovebirds puts on. So I kind of spearhead it. And we're doing it again for year 2. Last year we raised just under $20,000.
Wow.
And this was solely run on social media. There was no anything else. I talked to Jeff last year.
Yep.
You guys were great.
Jeff Russo. Yeah.
Jeff Russo. And we did it. We're doing it again this year, and we have over 50 businesses involved. And that list is growing. That list you see there is everybody that is currently involved.
Okay. And
so what happens?
Yeah, tell us how this works.
So what happens is through the month of March, these businesses either have a limited edition item or a special going on, or they are pledging that a certain percentage of sales will go towards the Saving Butts campaign. So this does go to Roswell. And I was very clear when I sat down with Roswell and I said, this has to go to colorectal cancer research and resources to be funded directly there. So all of these businesses, if you go to their Instagram or Facebook, they're starting to share this week what they have going on. So like Half Baked Cookies is that first one up there. They have 2 limited edition cookies they're running next week, where a portion of all of those sales will go to the campaign. So everyone is doing something different, but you see retail stores, Juicer Squeeze is back. You see Roly Polies. You see fitness places like Buff and Flow, the Flower Stand, restaurants like Lock 34. Brand Bar is hosting an event with me where it's a shopping event. So 10% of those sales at the end of March will go towards the campaign. So everyone has something different. And I would suggest following Buffalo Lovebirds and any of these great businesses to see what they have going on. So you can go and support. So everyone can go and buy up whatever and support the businesses. And then in turn, that supports the campaign.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so there you go. We're going to have all of this information too. Obviously, you can go back and take a look, but I'll put this up on my social media too, so people can take a look. And someone was asking how to follow you. It's Buffalo Lovebirds.
Yes. So Buffalo Love Birds.
Easy peasy. I'll connect Lindsay too on anything I put on social.
Thanks,
so
Katie.
we're able to do that. Lindsay, thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
And I wanted to have Lindsay on too. Since she was here, I said, okay, we always try to do a couple little topics here on Second Cup. I said, we're going to hit all your stuff hard because it's really important. And then I said, because we have you, let's pick this mom related topic that I think a lot of people will also relate to.
Oh, yeah.
Which is limited sleep.
Which we have.
Yes, which we all have. And it's not just for moms. So this new study specifically looks at high school kids, 12,000 high school students. It shows that 3 in 5 of them aren't getting enough sleep. In fact, 1 of every 4 teens gets less than 5 hours of sleep each night. 5 hours. Part of this is connected to social media.
Yeah.
But they also say almost a bigger part and it's kind of tied to social media, is having it what this girl's doing, laying there in your bed with it.
Yep, which we do.
Which we do.
We do all that. I mean, that's how.
And we're adults.
I know, and we know better.
We do. We know better.
Uh-huh.
And we still do it sometimes.
We do. It's that dopamine hit.
I know.
We're trying to turn off our brains. Think of anything else.
Yeah. So as we look at this study that, okay, it's high school kids, your youngest is going to be 9, you said.
Yes.
How do you as a parent tackle that,
Oh.
especially screen time?
I'll be honest, it's hard because we grew up right in the middle where we didn't have all of this technology, and then all of a sudden we did.
Right.
So we got to learn through it. So now as millennial parents navigating that, it's so hard because technology is everywhere. We want our kids at our house to be technologically aware, but also where is that fine line of, all right, no tablets, turn off the TV, no YouTube, and then you have to monitor everything as well. So we actually have, and everyone has a different personal rule. Our rule in our house is tablets are for like long road trips.
Okay.
Or if there's like an emergency where we're like, we got to do something, here's your tablet.
Right.
Like a big emergency where we can't, contain them.
Yes.
Right. And it's still limited time. We don't let them on more than an hour at a time. TV, we do our best to make sure that we're monitoring what they see, but also turning off before bedtime as best we can, trying to eliminate that in the morning so they're not doing that the first thing. Does it sneak on sometimes? Yeah. And you're like,
when we grew up, we would watch cartoons in the morning,
that's
like
the
on
thing.
the weekend,
Yes,
like
exactly.
Monday through Friday, you're like, it's a scramble to get ready for school probably.
Exactly.
But on the weekends, you kind of sit down, watch it.
Let them chill for a little bit.
Sure.
But, I think there's a big conversation around making sure you know what your kids are looking at, and then also setting those boundaries on how long they're on it, and then when they should completely be off of it.
Yeah. And then do you guys, your kids are still young, but have you talked about the social media plan for the future?
So yes, because we live in it.
Yep.
And Bo jokes, he's like, good thing you know all the little tricks because I don't know what's going on. Husbands. I know. We got to help them sometimes. But, I have always said, we've got to focus.
I forgot that Aaron has to do weather.
Okay.
Stand by. We're going to let him do weather, and then we'll talk about
Perfect.
that because I do want to hit that at the very end. I always forget about Aaron and weather when we do the second up in the studio. Okay, you'll get a forecast. Hold on one second.
I love it. Weather's important.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We have some issues on the roads right here. Here's a look at the 190 going northbound at exit 4. That's Smith Street in Buffalo, where the left lane is closed and the right lane is closed. So we have quite a backup as you have an accident on the left lane and also blocking the right lane and the right shoulder. So we have that to deal with. Also a crash on Route 5 westbound just beyond the 190 in Buffalo where the right lane is closed. It's foggy and the roads can be a little bit slippery. Take a look at the visibilities right now. 0 for Niagara Falls, Jamestown, and Olean. Buffalo visibility about 1/10 of a mile. So some areas you can hardly see a thing, and we do have the 2 accidents right now. Dense fog advisory in effect through 11 a.m. for dense fog and some icy spots on the roadways, especially bridges and overpasses. Those will ice up first. Right now, it is foggy here in downtown Buffalo, 33 degrees, so temperature is close to the freezing mark at the moment. 30 in Niagara Falls, 34 in Jamestown, 32 right now in Olean. Your hourly forecast for today: fog this morning, and then the fog will thin out. We'll have sunshine this afternoon with highs today near 50 degrees. But we have those clouds this morning, followed by the sunshine this afternoon. Overnight, we'll have some rain showers across the southern tier. Tomorrow, rain moves in, but notice Buffalo northward. The pink on the screen, that is the freezing rain. So we'll have perhaps some ice accumulate in the north towns late Thursday into Friday. As far as rain is concerned, higher totals across the southern tier where you could see an inch or so of rainfall tomorrow into Friday. Then we look at the ice totals, and we could see about 1/10 of an inch of ice in the north towns. Your forecast for today: fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon, highs today near 50 degrees. Tonight, overnight lows in the low 30s, clouds on the increase with some fog and some rain towards tomorrow morning. Some rain and freezing rain on Thursday, mid-50s Friday, upper 60s Saturday, cooler on Sunday.
Okay, so Lindsay, just getting a look at that forecast going,
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
You're ready. I know. I think we all are. Okay, so I'm sorry. I cut you off as we were talking about social media plans for the future.
Yeah, I think all of us as parents, it's hard to stay on top of it, but we need to understand that we do need to look into things like safety precautions, because it's a big mental health issue as they get older. So we really, really need to be diligent in understanding how to control that.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. Connie was saying she loves your energy. And a couple other people, oh, Peter said, we get to see Erin every day. Lindsay, we only get here and there. Get Lindsay the spotlight. But other people were chiming in too about what they see in their daily life. Diane was saying her niece is 16. She's up all hours of the night.
Yes.
Corrine saying third shift, little kids,
Yeah.
no sleep, tiny cat naps.
Mhm.
I know.
It's hard.
And Jason says, please bring Lindsay back to Second Cup. So I promise that we will.
I'll come back anytime.
So much for filling in for Ed today and
Thanks
for
for having
sharing your
me.
story specifically, because
Yes.
that is just so important.
Yeah.
Everybody, your takeaway is schedule that colonoscopy.
Now, like today, I want the phones blowing up in Erie County and really off the hook.
If you do, shoot me a message, shoot Lindsay a message, because we'd love to hear that. It would be, you know what, taking this and turning it into action.
Exactly.
Which is what we want to see.
Yes.
And then you saw the Save Your Bots, how you can help out in our community. and
Absolutely.
help A, local businesses, and then B, cancer research.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got it all on Buffalo Lovebirds. We're mainly on Instagram, but we're sharing it to a Buffalo Lovebirds Saving Butts page on Facebook. Oh, there it is. So that's how you spell Buffalo Lovebirds. So
Perfect.
give me a follow over there. You'll see my dad who's giving science lessons now. It's a controlled chaos over there.
It's fantastic. Well, thank you for taking a step from the controlled chaos to come be with us in our own controlled
Yes.
chaos here.
I love it.
We so appreciate it. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock.